What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Andrew here again, and in this video we are going to be looking at question number 14 from the math test inside of practice test 3 in your red book. So take a second, flip to practice test 3, read number 14 in the math test, and once you've read number 14, go ahead and hit play. Awesome. So in number 14, first thing you're going to notice is once again we've got another word problem. So of course that means we're going to be using our word problem strategy to answer number 14. And our word problem strategy, like always, 3 steps. Starting with the first step, we ask ourselves, what am I trying to find? Well, in this question, what we're trying to find is the perimeter of the figure. And I went ahead and just redrew the figure on the board. This is what it gives you in the problem. And we are trying to find the perimeter of this guy. Step 2, what do we know? Well, it tells us that all of the little squares inside the figure are congruent. That's right, I say congruent, not congruent. All the little squares inside the figure are congruent, and the total area of this figure is 125 square inches. This is what it gives us. And now from here, we have to take this information and move on to step 3, solve the problem, and determine what is the perimeter of this thing. So here's how I did it. There's several ways you can solve this, but here's how I solved it. I said, okay, how do I find the perimeter? Well, I can add up all of the lengths on the outside of the figure, but how do I find what the lengths on the outside of the figure are? Well, if I can learn a little bit about each individual square, I can start to make statements about the perimeter of the whole figure. So this is what I asked myself. I said, okay, I know that the area of the entire thing is 125, but what's the area of each individual square? Well, since all of the squares are congruent to each other, I can find the area of each square like this. The total area of the figure, well, my marker is dying a little bit. The total area of the figure is 125 square inches. And I know that there are 5 squares in the figure. So doing this pretty simple division, what I learn is that each square, I'm gonna draw a square here so we know, has an area of 25 square inches. Each of these squares has an area of 25 square inches. Each and every one of them does. Now let's take this a step further. If each square has an area of 25 square inches, think about this for a second. What's the area formula for a square? Well, the area of a square is equal to one side of the square, that length squared. So how do I know like if I want to solve for one side of the square, the length of one side of the square, I can plug what I do know into this equation. I know that the area of one of my squares is 25 square inches, and that 25 square inches is equal to one of the side lengths of my square to the second power. So how do I determine what's the length of one side of the square? I simply take the square root of both sides, and I find that one side of each square has a length of 5 inches. Now this is great, we're almost there. Remember, we want to find the perimeter of the entire figure, and I have just found that the length of one side of each square is 5. So now here's what I can do. I know that this side right here has a length of 5. This one has a length of 5. This one has a length of 5. And I can actually just go all around the perimeter and count, okay, how many lengths are along the perimeter? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did I count this one already? I don't remember. There are 12. There are 12 lengths around the perimeter. Each length is 5 inches, so 12 lengths times 5 inches is a total of 60 inches. The perimeter of our figure is 60 inches, which is answer choice G. So your answer to this question is G.